So Lord Stanley is appointed Governor General by Queen Victoria in 1888. Within seconds of stepping foot into Canada, Stanley fell in love with the game hockey. Stanley's entire family became active in the ice hockey scene. His two sons, Arthur and Algernon, created a new team called the Ottawa Rideau Hall Rebels. Arthur also played a major role in the formation of the Ontario Hockey Association. Arthur and Algernon convinced their father to donate a trophy to be the visible sign for the champions of hockey in Canada. After much deliberation, Lord Stanley would donate what would become the original Stanley Cup to the Ottawa Hockey Club in 1892, stating, "I have for some time been thinking that it would be a good thing if there were a Challenge Cup, which should be held from year to year by the champion hockey team in the Dominion of Canada." Stanley purchased what is described as a decorative punch bowl made in Sheffield, England. He purchased the cup for $48.67 using gold coins, which is equal to $1,385 in 2019 money. He had the words Dominion Hockey Challenge Cup engraved on one side, and from Stanley of Preston on the other side. Originally, Stanley intended that the cup should be awarded to the top amateur hockey team in Canada. The cup could be won from a challenge by another team. He made 5 rules regarding the cup. The winner shall return the cup in good order when required by the trustees so that it may be handed over to any other team which may win it. Each winning team at its own expense may have the club's name and year engraved on a silver ring fitted on the cup. The cup shall remain a challenge cup and should not become the property of one team, even if won more than once. The trustees shall maintain absolute authority in all situations or disputes over the winners of the cup. If one of the existing trustees resigns or drops out, the remaining trustees shall nominate a substitute. Stanley appointed Sheriff John Sweetland and Philip D. Ross as trustees of the cup. Sweetland and Ross first presented the trophy in 1893 to the Montreal Amateur Athletic Association since they won their playoff series, including a defeat over the Ottawa Hockey Club. They were presented the cup as hockey champions. Stanley never saw a Stanley Cup championship game, nor did he ever present the cup. So skipping to 1914, after a misunderstanding between two teams trying to challenge for the cup, the Victoria Aristocrats of the PCHA and the Toronto Blue Shirts of the NHA, the Board of Trustees pretty much gave full control of the cup to the 3 major hockey leagues of Canada, the NHA, the PCHA, and the Maritime League. 1 year later, when the Maritime League folded, the NHA and PCHA created an agreement where their respective champions would face each other for the cup. Under the new proposal, the Stanley Cup Final Series alternated between the East and West Coast each year. The PCHA's Vancouver Millionaires won the 1915 series 3-0 in a best-of-5 series. After the Portland Rosebuds, which was an American team, joined the PCHA in 1914, the trustees issued a statement that the cup was no longer for the best team in Canada, but now for the best team in the world. 2 years later, the Rosebuds became the first American team to play in the Stanley Cup Finals, and in 1917, the Seattle Metropolitans of the PCHA became the first American team to ever win the Stanley Cup. After that season, the NHA dissolved and became the National Hockey League. In 1919, the Spanish influenza epidemic forced the Montreal Canadiens and the Seattle Metropolitans to cancel their series, making it the first time the Stanley Cup was not awarded. The format for the Stanley Cup Final changed in 1922 with the formation of the Western Canadian Hockey League. Now 3 leagues once again competed for the Stanley Cup. This only lasted 3 seasons as the PCHA merged with the WCHL to form the Western Hockey League in 1925. After the WHL folded and became the Prairie Hockey League, most of their players were absorbed into the NHL expansion draft, thus deeming the PHL a minor team. Only major teams were allowed to challenge for the cup. Over 2 decades, other leagues and clubs occasionally issued challenges, but none were accepted by the cup's trustees. Since 1926, no non-NHL team has played for the cup. The trophy pretty much became the NHL's. Finally, in 1947, the NHL reached an agreement with the trustees J. Cooper Smeaton to allow control of the Stanley Cup to the NHL. They allowed the NHL to reject challenges from other leagues that may have wanted to play for the cup. In the 1970s, the World Hockey Association challenged for the cup. By this time, all the cup trustees were long NHL loyalists, and under the direction of NHL President Clarence Campbell, the WHA's challenge for the cup was blocked. The cup was awarded every year until 2005, when a labor dispute between the NHL's owners and the NHL's Player Association led to the cancellation of the 2004-2005 season. As a result, no cup champion was crowned for the first time since the flu pandemic in 1919. There are technically 3 versions of the Stanley Cup: the original 1892 Bowl or Dominion Hockey Challenge Cup, the 1963 Authenticated Presentation Cup, and the 1993 Permanent Cup. The Challenge Cup and the Permanent Cup are both located at the Hockey Hall of Fame, while the Presentation Cup is what has been presented to players since 1963. Anyways, that's the history of the Stanley Cup. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for future videos. If you have any video ideas, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. I'm trying to get to everything I found. And again, thank you so much for letting me reach 2,000 subscribers. The channel's killing it, so I love the support and I love everyone who's watching the videos. Anyways, I'll see you guys when I see you guys.